Hola, I'm Hannah from Speak Better Spanish. I'm here to help you stop overthinking Spanish and actually speak it. This is something a lot of people think, but don't always say out loud. Am I too old to learn Spanish? And it usually comes up after someone has tried learning before and felt like it was harder than expected. Maybe you tried an app, maybe you took a class, maybe you started strong and then stopped. And now you're wondering if it's just not easy for you anymore. So let's talk about the real answer. No, you are not too old to learn Spanish. But learning as an adult is different than learning as a child. And that's where a lot of confusion comes from. People compare themselves to how kids learn languages. Kids seem to pick things up naturally. They don't worry about mistakes, they just speak. And adults think, I should be able to do that too. But adults have a different advantage. You already understand how learning works. You can recognize patterns, you can understand explanations, you can apply logic. That's a huge advantage. The challenge is that adults also overthink. You analyze every sentence, you hesitate before speaking, you worry about making mistakes, and that slows you down. Another big difference is time. Kids are surrounded by the language constantly. Adults usually have limited time to practice. So if your approach isn't efficient, progress feels slow. Now, here's the important part. When adults use the right approach, they often improve faster than they expect because you don't need to absorb the language the same way that a child does. You can focus on what actually matters speaking, understanding, using the language in real situations. Let me give you an example. Instead of trying to learn hundreds of random words, you focus on how to talk about your day. You practice it, you repeat it, you improve it. That builds confidence quickly. And confidence leads to more practice, which leads to more progress. So the real issue is not age, it's the approach you're using. If you're mostly studying and not using the language, it will feel slow. If you're practicing speaking and focusing on real situations, which can feel challenging, you'll see progress much faster. So, if you've been wondering if you're too old to learn Spanish, the answer is no. I've worked with learners from their 20s all the way up to their 70s. So, it's totally possible to learn Spanish at any age. You just need a system that works for how adults actually learn. If you want help building that system, you can book a free roadmap session. I'll help you figure out exactly what to focus on based on your level and your goals. Because once your approach is clear, your progress becomes much more predictable.